Airport security stopped my daughter, revealing the billionaire CEO was her father. Going somewhere with my daughter, Zora. Zoraide Ashford's blood turned to ice. There, in the middle of Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, surrounded by security officers who refused to meet her eyes, stood the one man she had spent 13 years running from. Kaylin Crestwood, billionaire CEO. The father who never knew her daughter existed. Your daughter. Her voice trembled despite herself. You lost that right when your family paid me $50,000 to disappear. Kaylin stepped closer. His amber tiger eyes, the ones magazines loved to photograph, dropped to the 12-year-old girl hiding behind Zoraide's legs. Eyes that mirrored his own perfectly. Paid you to do what? And in that single frozen moment, Zoraide understood something that changed everything. He did not know. He never knew. But before we unravel how these two ended up in this impossible standoff, let me take you back to where this story truly begins. Because every love story has a beginning. And this one started with a dream, a suitcase, and a mother willing to cross oceans for her daughter's future. If this story already has you hooked, drop a like right now and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss what happens next. Trust me, you are going to want to see how this unfolds. 6 hours earlier, the Atlanta sunrise painted Zoraide Ashford's tiny apartment in shades of gold and amber. She stood in the doorway of her daughter's room, watching Kamari sleep with her passport clutched against her chest like a teddy bear. 12 years old, already so beautiful it made Zoraide's heart ache. Long limbs folded beneath a purple comforter. Curly hair spread across the pillow like a dark halo. And those eyes, currently closed, but Zoraide knew their color by heart. Amber, tiger eyes. The same eyes that haunted magazine covers and billboards across Atlanta. The same eyes that belonged to Kaylin Crestwood. Zoraide pushed that thought away. She had become an expert at pushing those thoughts away. 13 years of practice will do that to a woman. Kamari, baby, time to wake up. The girl stirred. One eye opened, then the other. That amber gaze found her mother's face and immediately brightened. Is it time? Is it really time? Zoraide smiled despite the nervous knots in her stomach. It is really time. Our flight leaves in 4 hours. Kamari shot up from the bed like someone had plugged her into an electrical socket. She started bouncing on the mattress, her passport still clutched in her hand. London. Mom, we are actually going to London. I cannot believe this is happening. Neither could Zoraide, if she was being honest. 6 months ago, she had been a struggling landscape architect working out of a cramped office in East Atlanta, taking whatever projects she could find just to keep the lights on. Then came the email that changed everything. Whitmore and Associates, one of the most prestigious architectural firms in London. They had seen her work on the Piedmont Park restoration project. They were impressed. They wanted to interview her for a senior position. Senior landscape architect. The title alone made Zoraide dizzy. But more than the title, more than the salary, more than the prestige, this job meant one thing. Escape. 13 years she had lived in Atlanta, always looking over her shoulder. 13 years of avoiding certain neighborhoods, certain events, certain magazines. 13 years of building a life in the shadow of the Crestwood Empire while praying that shadow never noticed her. London was freedom. London was 3,000 miles between her daughter and the family that had once threatened to destroy them both. Mom, should I wear the blue dress or the green one? Kamari was already tearing through her closet, tossing clothes onto the bed. I want to look sophisticated. British people are sophisticated, right? Zoraide laughed. Wear whatever makes you comfortable, baby. We have a long flight ahead of us. She left Kamari to her wardrobe crisis and walked to the kitchen. The apartment was small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen that barely fit a table. But it was theirs. Zoraide had worked double shifts, taken weekend projects, and sacrificed sleep for years to give Kamari this stability. On the refrigerator, held up by a magnet shaped like the Eiffel Tower, was the letter from Whitmore and Associates. Zoraide touched it gently, almost reverently. This is it, Mama. She whispered to the empty kitchen, imagining her mother's face. We are finally getting out. Her mother had died 3 years ago. Cancer. Quick and cruel. In her final days, she had gripped Zoraide's hand and made her promise one thing. Protect that baby from those people. They are snakes, Zora. Snakes in expensive suits. Zoraide had kept that promise. For 13 years, she had kept it. Today, she would put an ocean between her daughter and the snakes forever. The drive to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport took 45 minutes. Kamari spent the entire ride with her face pressed against the window, watching Atlanta pass by. I am going to miss Seth, she said suddenly. Zoraide glanced at her daughter through the rearview mirror. Seth was Kamari's best friend. They had been inseparable since kindergarten. You can video chat every day, baby, and he can come visit during summer. It is not the same. Kamari sighed with all the dramatic weight a 12-year-old could muster. But I guess that is the sacrifice we make for success. Zoraide bit back a smile. Her daughter had been reading those motivational quotes again. They parked in the long-term lot. Zoraide grabbed their suitcases, 2 modest bags containing everything they would need for the first few weeks. The rest of their belongings were already on a cargo ship headed to London. The apartment lease ended at the end of the month. No turning back now. The airport was chaos. It always was. Bodies moving in every direction. Announcements echoing through the terminal. The smell of coffee and stress and possibility. Gate B-17. Zoraide checked their boarding passes for the 100th time. We have plenty of time. Can we get food? Kamari tugged at her sleeve. I want one of those giant pretzels. After security, they joined the winding line at the TSA checkpoint. Zoraide handed over their documents. Passports, boarding passes, everything in order. The TSA agent, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes, scanned Zoraide's passport first. No issues. She scanned Kamari's next, and then her face changed. It was subtle, a flicker of confusion, then recognition, then something that looked almost like fear. One moment, please. Zoraide felt the first spike of anxiety pierce her chest. Is something wrong? The agent did not answer. She picked up a phone, pressed a button, and spoke in a voice too low for Zoraide to hear. Seconds stretched into minutes. The line behind them grew restless. Kamari looked up at her mother with worried eyes. Mom, what is happening? I do not know, baby. I am sure it is just a routine check. But Zoraide knew better. She had spent 13 years preparing for something like this. 13 years waiting for the other shoe to drop. She just never expected it to drop at an airport terminal. 2 more agents appeared. They were not TSA. Their suits were too expensive. Their posture too rigid. They flanked Zoraide and Kamari with practiced efficiency. Ms. Ashford, we need you to come with us. Zoraide's maternal instincts screamed. She pulled Kamari closer. Why? What is going on? We have done nothing wrong. There is a flag on your daughter's passport. The taller agent spoke like he was reading from a script. She is on a high-profile parent travel watch list. We need to verify some information before you can proceed. Watch list? What watch list? Kamari does not have a father on record. There must be some mistake. The agent's expression did not change. Please come with us, Ms. Ashford. This will go much smoother if you cooperate. Zoraide wanted to fight. Every fiber of her being wanted to grab Kamari and run. But they were surrounded. Cameras watched from every angle. Other travelers were starting to stare. Okay. Her voice was steady even though her heart was not. Okay, we will come. But someone is going to explain this to me. They were escorted through a door marked authorized personnel only, down a long corridor, past offices and break rooms. Finally, into a private lounge that looked nothing like any TSA facility Zoraide had ever seen. Plush leather couches, a bar stocked with top-shelf liquor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the tarmac. This is not a security room, Zoraide said slowly. Where are we? And then the door behind her opened. Now, before I tell you who walked through that door, I need you to understand something about Kalen Crestwood. The magazines called him the Tiger of Atlanta. Not because he was fierce, though he was. Not because he was predatory, though many would argue that too. They called him that because of his eyes. Amber, gold-flecked. Intense. Eyes that could make a boardroom full of executives drop their gazes in submission. Eyes that had graced the covers of Forbes, Time, and GQ. Eyes that women across America described as hypnotic. Eyes that Zoraide Ashford had once loved with every fiber of her being. At 38, Kalen Crestwood controlled an empire. Thorn Global Logistics had been rebranded to Crestwood Industries 5 years ago after he wrested control from his aging father. They owned shipping lanes, airports, warehouses across 6 continents, including, as Zoraide was about to discover, the very airport she was standing in. Hartsfield-Jackson was not just any airport. It was the busiest airport in the world, and 32% of its private terminal operations were contracted through Crestwood Industries, which meant Kalen had access to passenger manifests, which meant he had access to travel flags, which meant when a facial recognition algorithm he had secretly installed 3 years ago finally pinged with a match, he knew within seconds that a woman named Zoraide Ashford was attempting to leave the country with a 12-year-old child. A child with amber eyes. The door opened. Zoraide turned. And there he was. 13 years had changed him. The boyish softness she remembered had been carved away, replaced by sharp angles and harder edges. His jaw was more defined, his shoulders broader. The playful light that once danced in those tiger eyes had been replaced by something colder, calculating. But those eyes, God, those eyes were exactly the same. "Hello, Zora." His voice was deeper now, richer, like whiskey aged in oak barrels. Zora could not speak, could not move, could not breathe. Behind her, Kamari pressed closer. "Mom, who is that?" Kalen's gaze dropped to the girl. For a moment, just a moment, the cold calculation in his eyes flickered. Something else passed across his face. Shock, recognition, wonder. Then it was gone, replaced by that controlled mask. "I think," he said slowly, "that is a question your mother should answer." Zora found her voice. It came out sharper than she intended. "You have no right to be here. You have no right to stop us. I have every right." Kalen stepped further into the room. The door closed behind him with a soft click. "That child is my daughter. She is not." "Zora, look at her eyes. Look at them." Silence fell, heavy, suffocating. Kamari looked between them, confusion written across her young face. "Mom, what is he talking about? Who is this man?" Zora wanted to lie. She had been lying for 12 years. One more would not matter. But the truth was standing right in front of them, impossible to deny. Father and daughter, mirror images of each other. "He is no one, baby." Zora pulled Kamari toward the door. "We are leaving." Kalen moved faster. He did not touch them, but he positioned himself between them and the exit. "You are not going anywhere. Get out of my way. Not until you explain why you kept my daughter from me for 12 years. The accusation hung in the air like smoke after an explosion. Kamari's voice was small. 12 years. "Mom, is he saying he is my father?" Zora's heart shattered. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times, dreaded it, prepared for it, but nothing could have prepared her for the look on her daughter's face. Confusion, hurt, betrayal. "Kamari, listen to me. Is he my father?" Zora closed her eyes, took a breath, opened them again. "Yes." The word dropped like a stone into still water, ripples spreading outward, touching everything. Kamari stepped back from both of them. Her eyes, those amber eyes that had always been Zoraid's greatest joy and greatest fear, filled with tears. "You told me he died. You told me my father died before I was born." Zora reached for her. "Baby, I can explain. You lied to me." Kamari turned and ran, not toward the door, but toward the far corner of the room, where she collapsed onto a couch and buried her face in her hands. Zora started after her, but Kalen's voice stopped her. "You told her I was dead." The pain in his voice was raw, unexpected. Zora turned to face him. What was I supposed to tell her? That her father's family paid me $50,000 to disappear. That your mother stood in my apartment and told me she would destroy my life if I ever contacted you again. That I was 23 years old, pregnant, and terrified. And the people who should have protected us instead threw money at me like I was a problem to be solved. Kalen's face went pale. "What are you talking about? Do not pretend you did not know." "I did not know." He stepped closer. His voice dropped. "Zora, I swear on my life. I had no idea you were pregnant. I had no idea about any payment. I thought you left because..." He stopped. His jaw tightened. "Because what?" Zora demanded. "Because my mother told me you took $50,000 to end our relationship. That you never loved me. That it was all about the money." Zora laughed. It was a bitter, broken sound. "Of course she did. Of course she told you that." Silence stretched between them. 13 years of misunderstanding. 13 years of lies. Across the room, Kamari's quiet sobs were the only sound. Zora looked at the man she had once loved. The father of her child. The source of all her running. "Your family destroyed us before we even had a chance. They took everything from me. My dignity, my future, my belief that I deserve to be loved by someone like you. And now you stand here acting like you are the victim." Kalen shook his head. "I am not saying I am the victim. I am saying I did not know. Zora, I looked for you. You did not look hard enough. I looked for 3 years. I hired private investigators. I searched every database I could access. You disappeared completely, because your mother threatened to take everything from me if I did not. She said if I ever contacted you, ever told anyone the truth, she would make sure I never worked again. She said she would take my child. You should have fought. I was 23. Zoraid's voice cracked. I was pregnant, alone, and facing one of the most powerful families in Georgia. How exactly was I supposed to fight? The question hung between them, unanswerable. This is so much to process, right? Take a moment to drop a comment below. Tell me what you would have done in Zoraid's situation. Would you have run like she did? Or would you have stayed to fight? I want to hear your thoughts. The private lounge became a prison. Kalen made a call, spoke in low, clipped tones. When he hung up, he informed Zoraide that their flight had been canceled. You cannot do that. She protested. I can do many things, Zora. Kalen's voice was cold, including file for emergency custody if you attempt to leave this state with my daughter. She is my daughter. I raised her. I fed her. I stayed up with her when she was sick. I worked 3 jobs so she could go to a good school. You do not get to walk in here after 12 years and claim her like property. I am not claiming her like property. I am asserting my parental rights. You have no rights. You are not on her birth certificate. Then we will have a DNA test done. Kalen's eyes never left hers. We both know what it will show. Zoraide wanted to scream. She wanted to throw something. She wanted to go back in time and book a different flight, choose a different airport, make 1,000 different choices that would have prevented this moment. But there was no going back. There was only forward. And forward meant dealing with Kalen Crestwood. What do you want? She asked finally. Because I know men like you. You do not do anything without a plan. So what is your plan? Kalen was quiet for a long moment. He looked past Zoraide to where Kamari sat, still curled on the couch, still crying quietly. When he spoke again, his voice was different. Softer. I want to know my daughter. I want to understand who she is, what she likes, what she dreams about. I want to be her father. You cannot just become her father overnight. I know that. She does not know you. I know that too. She is scared and confused and hurting right now, and that is because of you. Kalen's jaw tightened. That is because of both of us, Zora. You chose to lie to her. You chose to tell her I was dead. What choice did I have? Your mother. My mother is not here. Kalen cut her off. My mother does not speak for me. She never did. And whatever she did 13 years ago, I promise you, she will answer for it. Zoraide searched his face for deception. She had become an expert at reading people over the years. Survival demanded it. But all she saw in Kalen's eyes was raw, genuine pain. And something else. Determination. I am not leaving Atlanta without my daughter. Zoraide said firmly. If you want to know her, it will be on my terms, not yours. Your terms. We stay at my apartment. You do not get unsupervised visits until Kamari is comfortable. You do not introduce her to your family, especially your mother. And you do not interfere with my career. I have a job interview in London that I have worked my entire life for, and I will not let you take that from me. Kalen considered this. You want to move to London? I want options. He nodded slowly. Fine. Fine. We will take it slow. I will earn her trust. And yours. But I am not going anywhere, Zora. I missed 12 years. I will not miss another day. Zoraide wanted to argue. She wanted to tell him that he had no right to make demands, that his money and power meant nothing in the face of her love for Kamari. But she was tired. So incredibly tired. And somewhere beneath the anger and fear, a small part of her understood his pain. Understood what it meant to miss the first 12 years of your child's life. That did not mean she forgave him. That did not mean she trusted him. But it meant she was willing, for Kamari's sake, to try. Okay, she said finally. But the first time you break one of my rules, we are gone. I do not care how many lawyers you have, or how much money you throw at this. I will take her and disappear so completely that even your facial recognition software will not find us. Kalen's eyes flickered with something that might have been respect. Noted, getting Kamari to leave the couch took 45 minutes. Zoraide sat beside her, speaking softly, explaining things she had hoped to never have to explain. She told her about the summer she met Kalen, how young they were, how in love. She told her about his family, their wealth and power and expectations. She told her about the payment, the threats, the desperate decision to run. She did not tell her everything. Some things a 12-year-old should not have to carry. But she told her enough. Kamari listened with red-rimmed eyes. When Zoraide finished, she was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke. He really did not know about me. Zoraide shook her head. No, baby, he did not. Kamari looked across the room to where Kalen stood by the window, his back to them, his reflection ghostly against the glass. His eyes are like mine. Yes, everyone always asks where I got them. She said softly. I never knew what to tell them. Zoraide pulled her daughter close. I am so sorry, baby. I thought I was protecting you. I thought if you knew the truth, it would only hurt you. Kamari leaned into her mother's embrace. I am not angry at you, Mom. I mean, I am a little angry. But mostly I am just confused. That is okay. Confusion is normal. What happens now? Zoraide looked at Kalen's reflection in the window. Now we figure it out. Together. They did not go to London that day. Instead, they went to Zoraide's apartment. All three of them. The ride was silent and tense. Kaylin had offered to send a car, but Zoraide refused. They took her old Honda Civic. Kaylin folded awkwardly into the passenger seat, his designer suit laughably out of place against the faded upholstery. Kamari sat in the back, staring out the window, processing. When they pulled up to the apartment complex, Kaylin did not comment on the cracked sidewalk or the peeling paint or the mailboxes with broken locks. But Zoraide saw him take it all in. This is where you have been living. This is where I have been surviving. There is a difference. She led them upstairs to the second floor, unlocked the door, stepped into the life she had built without him. The apartment was small but clean. Colorful artwork covered the walls. Most of it Kamari's, but some pieces were Zoraide's own designs. Landscape blueprints and garden sketches. Evidence of a dream she refused to let die. Kaylin stood in the entryway, looking around with an expression Zoraide could not read. Kamari went straight to her room and closed the door. She needs time, Zoraide said. Kaylin nodded. I understand. Silence. You can sit if you want. Zoraide gestured to the couch. Do you want coffee? Please. She moved to the kitchen, grateful for something to do with her hands. Kaylin sat on the edge of the couch, looking profoundly uncomfortable. Your work, he said, gesturing to the blueprints on the wall. It is impressive. You sound surprised. I am not surprised, he corrected. I always knew you were talented. That summer, you used to sketch gardens in the margins of everything. Zoraide paused. You remember that? I remember everything, Zora. The coffee maker gurgled. Neither of them spoke. When the coffee was ready, Zoraide brought 2 cups to the living room. She sat in the armchair across from him, maintaining distance. Your mother, she started. Does she know about this? Kaylin's expression darkened no. And she will not yet. Why not? Because I need to understand what she did before I confront her. I need evidence, proof. You do not believe me. I believe you. Kaylin's eyes met hers. I just know how she operates. If I accuse her without documentation, she will find a way to twist it. To make you the villain. She already made me the villain. 13 years ago. Then let me make it right. Zoraide shook her head. You cannot make 13 years right. I can try. More silence, heavier this time. The London job. Zoraide said finally. I cannot just walk away from it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. I know. If I do not go to that interview, I lose everything I have worked for. Kaylin leaned forward. What if I helped you? Zoraide's defenses went up immediately. I do not want your money. That is not what I am offering. Kaylin set down his coffee cup. I am offering to make a call. I know people at Whitmore and Associates. I can explain the situation, ask them to reschedule the interview. You know people everywhere. It is a curse. Zoraide wanted to refuse. Every instinct screamed at her to reject his help, to prove she did not need him. But she was not stupid, and she knew how the world worked. One call she said finally, that is all. That is all. And you do not tell them anything about us. About our history. I will simply say there was a family emergency. Zoraide nodded slowly. Okay, make the call. Kaylin pulled out his phone, stepped onto the small balcony, closed the door behind him. Zoraide watched him through the glass. He moved with a confidence that bordered on arrogance, gesturing as he spoke, commanding whatever conversation he was having. 13 years. 13 years since she had last seen him. Since she had last touched him. Since she had last believed in the possibility of them. So much had changed. And yet, watching him now, she realized something had not changed at all. The way her heart still responded to his presence. The way her body still remembered his. No, she told herself firmly. That part of her life was over. Kaylin Crestwood was her daughter's father. Nothing more. Whatever they had shared died the night his mother walked into her apartment with a briefcase full of cash and a heart full of poison. There was no resurrecting the dead. Kamari emerged from her room 2 hours later. She had changed into comfortable clothes, sweatpants, and an oversized t-shirt. Her eyes were still red, but she looked calmer. I am hungry, she announced. Kaylin stood immediately. I can order something. We do not need your money. Kamari's voice was sharp. Mom makes really good spaghetti. Kaylin sat back down. Chastened. Zoraide hid a smile. Her daughter was nothing if not fierce. They ate dinner at the small kitchen table. Kaylin at one end, Zoraide at the other, Kamari between them like a bridge neither of them knew how to cross. The conversation was stilted at first. Safe topics. School, friends, favorite subjects. Kamari's answers were short, guarded, but slowly, cautiously, she began to open up. I like art class best, she said, twirling spaghetti around her fork. And English. But math is the worst. Mom tries to help me, but she is almost as bad at it as I am. Hey, Zoraide protested. I am not that bad. You mixed up the formulas last week, and we both failed the practice test. Kalen laughed. It was a real laugh, warm and surprised, and it changed his entire face. I can help with math, he offered. I was always good with numbers. Kamari studied him. You probably had fancy tutors. I did, but that does not mean I did not learn. She considered this. Maybe, we will see. It was not acceptance, but it was a door left slightly open. Zoraide watched them, father and daughter, so alike it was almost painful, and yet strangers in every way that mattered. She thought about the Whitmore interview, about London, about the life she had been building toward for so long, and she thought about what it might mean to stay, not for Kalen, not for the Crestwood money or the Crestwood name, but for Kamari, because despite everything, despite the lies and the pain and the fear, her daughter deserved to know her father, even if that father came with complications, even if he came with an empire, even if he came with a mother who had once tried to destroy them. After dinner, Kalen left, not because Zoraide asked him to, but because Kamari did. I need to think, she said simply. This is a lot. Kalen nodded. He did not push, did not argue. He simply said, I understand. I will come back tomorrow, if that is okay. Kamari looked at her mother. Zoraide nodded. Okay, Kamari said, but text first. Do not just show up. I will text. He moved toward the door, paused, turned back. Kamari, yeah, I know I missed a lot. I know I cannot change that. But I want you to know something. His voice cracked slightly. If I had known about you, nothing would have kept me away. Nothing. Kamari did not respond, but something in her expression softened. Kalen left. The apartment felt smaller without him. Quieter. Kamari turned to her mother. He seems sad. He lost 12 years with you. Zoraide pulled her daughter into a hug. Of course he is sad. Are you sad too? Zoraide thought about it. About everything she had sacrificed. Everything she had lost. I am a lot of things right now, baby. But mostly, I am grateful. For what? For you. For getting to be your mom. No matter what happens, that has been the greatest gift of my life. Kamari held her tighter. I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby. More than anything. That night, after Kamari fell asleep, Zoraide sat on the balcony and called her best friend, Simone. The phone barely rang once before Simone answered. Girl, why are you not on a plane right now? Zoraide took a deep breath, and then she told her everything. Simone was silent for a long time after Zoraide finished. Finally, she said, so let me get this straight. The billionaire baby daddy you have been hiding from for over a decade just happened to own the airport you were flying out of, used facial recognition to find you, and is now sitting in your apartment eating your spaghetti. He already left. But yes, Zoraide, girl, this is insane. I know. What are you going to do? I have no idea. Simone sighed. Okay, let us think about this logically. He says he did not know. Do you believe him? Zoraide considered the question. I saw his face when he looked at Kamari. Simone, he looked like someone had just handed him the world and told him he could not keep it. That was not acting. So his mother really did all that without telling him. She must have. That woman is evil. Zoraide laughed despite herself. Tell me something I do not know. So what now? Does he want custody? He says he wants to know her. He says he will take it slow. And you believe that? I do not know what I believe anymore. But Kamari deserves the chance to know her father. Even if that father is complicated. Complicated, Simone snorted. Honey, that man is not complicated. He is a Category 5 hurricane wearing a designer suit. Zoraide smiled. That is actually pretty accurate. Just be careful, okay? Men like that, they are used to getting what they want. Do not let him bulldoze you. I will not. And Zora, yeah, if you need anything, anything at all, I am here. You are not alone in this. I know. Thank you, Simone. They talked for another hour. About Kalen. About London. About what the future might hold. When Zoraide finally went to bed, she did not sleep. She lay in the darkness, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the day. Kalen's face when he saw Kamari. His voice when he said he looked for her. His promise that he would make things right. Could she trust him? Could she afford to? The questions chased each other through her mind until dawn began to lighten the sky. Tomorrow would bring answers, or more questions. Either way, there was no going back now. The cage had opened, and Zoraide was not sure if she was being set free or trapped all over again. Before we continue, if you are feeling as invested in this story as I think you are, make sure you share it with someone who loves a good emotional drama. And hit that subscribe button if you have not already. The rest of this story is going to take you on a ride you will not forget. The next morning arrived too quickly. Zoraide woke to the sound of her phone buzzing. A text from Kalen. Good morning. Is it okay if I come by around noon? I want to take Kamari to lunch if she is willing. Zoraide stared at the message. 12 hours ago, this man had been a ghost. A memory she kept locked away in the darkest corner of her heart. Now he was texting her about lunch plans. She typed back, I will ask her, no promises. Thank you. So formal, so careful. So unlike the Kaylin she remembered from 13 years ago. That summer, Zoraide pushed the memory away before it could fully form. But it slipped through anyway. The Georgia Mountains. A summer program for young architects. 23 years old, full of dreams and ambition and the belief that hard work could overcome any obstacle. Kaylin had been there too. Not as a participant, but as a visitor. His family had funded the program. He was supposed to show up, shake some hands, and leave. Instead, he stayed. I saw you drawing by the lake. He told her later, much later, when they were tangled in sheets at a cabin that smelled like pine and possibility. You were so focused, so intense. I wanted to know what you were seeing. What was I drawing? Gardens. You were always drawing gardens. She had been. A redesign of the program's landscape. Something she was doing on the side, just for herself. Kaylin had walked over, asked to see. And something in his eyes when he looked at her work made Zoraide feel seen in a way she never had before. They spent the summer together. Long days and longer nights. He showed her parts of himself he said he never showed anyone. The pressure of being a Crestwood heir. The expectations that crushed him. The loneliness that came with having everything except someone who wanted him for himself. And Zoraide showed him parts of herself too. The poverty she had grown up in. The mother who worked 3 jobs. The father who left before she could remember. The burning determination to build a life that mattered. They were an impossible match. Everyone said so. But for one perfect summer, impossible felt possible. And then it ended. Zoraide shook off the memory. It was too painful to live in. Too dangerous. That summer was gone. The boy Kaylin had been was gone too, replaced by a man shaped by power and betrayal and years of believing she had abandoned him. They were not those people anymore. They never could be again. Kamari agreed to lunch, but only because she wanted answers. I have questions, she told Zoraide while brushing her teeth. A lot of questions, and he is the only one who can answer them. That is fair. She chose her outfit carefully. Jeans and a nice blouse. Casual enough to seem like she did not care, dressy enough to show she was taking this seriously. How do I look? She asked Zoraide. Like exactly who you are. Zoraide kissed her forehead. Perfect. Kaylin arrived at exactly noon. He was dressed down from yesterday. Dark jeans, a simple button-up shirt, expensive watch the only sign of his wealth. He looked nervous. Zoraide had not expected that. Hello, he said from the doorway. Thank you for agreeing to this. She did. Zoraide nodded toward Kamari. I am just the chauffeur. Actually, Kamari stepped forward. I want to go just us. Zoraide blinked. What? Just me and him. Kamari's chin lifted in that stubborn way Zoraide knew so well. The questions I have are personal. I do not want you editing his answers. Baby, I would never. Mom. Kamari's voice was gentle but firm. You have been protecting me my whole life. Let me do this. Please. Zoraide looked at Kaylin. His eyes were on Kamari, something like wonder in his expression. 2 hours. She said finally. And you stay in public places. And you text me every 30 minutes. Deal. Kamari grabbed her jacket. Ready. Kaylin nodded. He looked at Zoraide. I will take care of her. You better. They left together. Father and daughter. Walking into the sunlight, into the unknown. Zoraide watched them go, her heart in her throat. And for the first time in 12 years, she prayed that she had made the right choice. Kaylin took Kamari to a small diner downtown. Not the kind of place a billionaire usually frequented, but he had asked where she wanted to go, and she had chosen this. She ordered pancakes even though it was noon. He ordered coffee. Why did your family not want me? Kamari asked before the coffee even arrived. Kaylin set down his menu. She was not going to ease into this. I do not know. Honestly, I do not. But I'm going to find out. Your mom, my grandmother, she is the one who paid my mom to leave. Yes. Have you talked to her about it? Not yet. I wanted to hear your mother's side first, to understand what really happened. Kamari stirred sugar into her water, a nervous habit she had inherited from Zoraide. What do you think happened? Kaylin was quiet for a moment. I think my mother saw your mother as a threat. Someone who was not part of our world. Someone she could not control. And instead of giving us a chance, she removed the problem. My mom is not a problem. I know that. Believe me, I know that. The pancakes arrived. Kamari poured syrup methodically, creating perfect spirals. What were you like? She asked. Back then, when you knew my mom. Kalen smiled, and for a second, he looked younger, less guarded. I was idealistic. I believed I could change my family from the inside, make the business more ethical, more human. I thought if I just worked hard enough, proved myself enough, they would listen. Did they? No, his smile faded. They never did. So what changed? Your mother left. Kalen's voice dropped. After that, nothing seemed to matter as much. I threw myself into work, built the company bigger, better, more profitable. I became what they wanted me to become. A billionaire. A machine. He corrected. Billionaire is just a number. I was not living, I was just existing. And now I look at you, and I think maybe there is still a chance. A chance to be something more than what my family made me. Kamari studied him. That is a lot of pressure to put on a kid. Kalen blinked, then laughed. Surprised. You are absolutely right. I apologize. That is not your burden to carry. It is okay. She shrugged, cutting into her pancakes. I am just saying, maybe you should figure out who you want to be for yourself. Not just for me. Kalen stared at his daughter. This girl he had just met. This stranger who shared his eyes and his blood and apparently his tendency toward painful honesty. You are remarkable, he said quietly. You know that. My mom tells me every day. Kamari grinned, and it was like the sun coming out. So yeah, I know. They talked for 2 hours. About school, about friends, about Kamari's dreams of becoming an artist, or maybe a veterinarian, or maybe both. Kalen asked questions. Real questions. Not the kind adults usually ask children to be polite. He wanted to know what books she read, what music she liked, what made her laugh. And slowly, cautiously, Kamari began to let him in. Not all the way. Not yet. But a crack formed in the wall between them. A small opening. Enough to let light through. When they returned to the apartment, Zoraide was pacing the living room like a caged animal. You are back. She rushed to Kamari. Are you okay? Did everything go well? Mom, chill. Kamari rolled her eyes. We just ate pancakes. For 2 hours. We talked too. Is that allowed? Zoraide took a breath. Forced herself to calm down. Of course. I am sorry. I was just worried. I know. Kamari hugged her. But I am okay. Really. Kalen stood in the doorway, watching them. When Kamari released her mother, he stepped forward. Thank you for today, he said to Kamari. It meant more than I can say. Kamari nodded. Same time next week. Kalen's face lit up. Yes, absolutely. Whenever you want. Cool. Kamari headed toward her room, then paused. Oh, and maybe you can help me with my math homework. You said you were good at numbers. I would love to. She disappeared into her room. The door clicked shut. Zoraide and Kalen stood alone in the living room. The silence was different now. Charged. She is incredible. Kalen said softly. You raised her well. I raised her the best I could. You raised her incredibly. There is a difference. Zoraide looked at him. Really looked at him. The man he had become. The father he was trying to be. She is giving you a chance. She said finally. Do not waste it. I will not. Kalen's eyes met hers. I promise you, Zora. I will not waste this. He left shortly after. But something had shifted. Some wall had begun to crumble. Zoraide did not know what it meant yet, but she knew things would never be the same. Over the next 2 weeks, Kalen became a fixture in their lives. He showed up for math homework, proving himself surprisingly patient when Kamari threw her pencil across the room in frustration. He took her to art museums and parks and once, to see a play downtown that had her talking for days afterward. He never pushed, never demanded, never tried to buy her affection with expensive gifts, though Zoraide suspected he wanted to. Instead, he gave her something more valuable. Time, attention, presence. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, Kamari began to trust him. She started calling him Kalen instead of him. Then Kay, a nickname she invented one afternoon while they were arguing about which superhero would win in a fight. She started saving stories from school to tell him. Started asking his opinion on things. Started looking for him when he was not there. Zoraide watched it happen with a complicated mix of emotions. Relief that her daughter was healing. Fear that she was being replaced. And something else. Something she did not want to name. The 3rd week, everything changed. Kalen arrived at the apartment with a folder in his hands. His face was pale. His eyes, those tiger eyes, were blazing. Is Kamari here? He asked. She is at a friend's house. Zoraide stepped back to let him in. What is wrong? Kalen set the folder on the kitchen table. Opened it. Inside were documents, letters, bank statements. I hired someone, he said, his voice tight, to investigate what my mother did 13 years ago, to find proof. And I found it. Zoraide looked at the papers. Her heart began to pound. What is this? Evidence. Kaylin's jaw clenched. Evidence that my mother did not just pay you off. She manipulated both of us. She intercepted your letters. She lied to me about where you went. She even hired someone to follow you, to make sure you stayed away. Zoraide picked up one of the papers. It was a photocopy of a letter. Her handwriting. Kaylin, I do not know if you will ever read this, but I need you to know the truth. I did not leave because of the money. I left because your mother said she would destroy us both if I stayed. I am pregnant with your child. She stared at her own words. Words she had written 13 years ago. Words she had sent and never received a response to. I never got this letter. Kaylin's voice broke. I never got any of them. She hid them from me. All of them. Zoraide counted the photocopies. There were 11. I wrote you every month. She whispered. For almost a year. I thought you just did not care. Zora. Kaylin moved closer. I cared. I never stopped caring. If I had known, if I had just known. He stopped, looked away. When he looked back, there were tears in his eyes. I am going to destroy her, he said quietly. Not the company, not the empire, her. Everything she built on lies. I am going to burn it all down. Zoraide shook her head. That will not change what happened. No, but it will make sure she never does it again. To us, to anyone. Zoraide looked at the letters, at the evidence of his mother's cruelty laid bare. 13 years of pain, 13 years of lies. And finally, the truth. What are you going to do? She asked. Kaylin gathered the papers. First, I am going to confront her. Then I am going to make sure she can never hurt this family again. This family. He stopped at the door, turned back. Yes, his voice was firm. This family, you, me, and Kamari. Whatever we are, whatever we become, we are a family now. And I protect my family. He left. Zoraide stood in the silent apartment, the weight of his words settling around her like a cloak. Family. After 13 years alone, the word felt foreign on her tongue. But also, maybe, like the beginning of something new. The Crestwood estate sat on 40 acres of manicured Georgia countryside. Iron gates, stone walls, security cameras hidden in the magnolia, trees like mechanical birds watching for prey. Kaylin had grown up here, had learned to walk on these marble floors, had taken his first steps in the garden his mother designed to impress, not to nurture. He had not called ahead. The housekeeper, a woman named Bettina who had worked for the family for 30 years, opened the door with surprise in her eyes. Mr. Kaylin, your mother did not mention you were coming. She does not know. He walked past her, through the foyer with its crystal chandelier, past the portrait gallery where generations of Crestwoods stared down with cold, painted eyes, into the sunroom where his mother took her afternoon tea. Victoria Crestwood sat in a wingback chair, a porcelain cup balanced delicately in her manicured hands. At 62, she was still striking. Silver hair swept into a perfect chignon, posture that could cut glass, eyes the color of winter storms, eyes nothing like his own. Kaylin had inherited his father's eyes, the tiger eyes that made him famous. His father had been dead for 5 years now, but sometimes Kaylin still saw him in the mirror. Kaylin. Victoria set down her cup with a soft clink. What a pleasant surprise. There is nothing pleasant about this visit, Mother. He dropped the folder on the table between them. Papers scattered across the polished wood. Letters, bank statements, photographs. Victoria looked at them. Her expression did not change. What is this? You know exactly what it is. She picked up one of the letters, scanned it with the casual interest of someone reading a restaurant menu, set it back down. Old correspondence. How quaint. That correspondence is proof that you destroyed my life. Kaylin's voice was steady, but his hands were shaking. You paid Zoraide to leave. You intercepted her letters. You lied to me for 13 years. Victoria sipped her tea. I did what was necessary. Necessary. That woman was not suitable for you. She was a distraction, a liability. I removed her from the equation so you could focus on what mattered. What mattered? Kaylin stepped closer. She was pregnant with my child. I have a daughter. A daughter I have never known. And you kept her from me. For the first time, something flickered in Victoria's eyes. Surprise, quickly masked. A daughter. Her name is Kamari. She is 12 years old. She has my eyes. And until 3 weeks ago, she thought I was dead because that was the only way Zoraide could explain why her father was never there. Victoria set down her teacup, folded her hands in her lap. I did not know about the child. Would it have mattered? Silence. Kaylin waited, hoping, stupidly, that his mother would say something that made this better, that she would apologize, that she would show some flicker of the humanity he had spent his whole life searching for in her. Instead, she said, The woman was unsuitable. That has not changed. A child complicates things, certainly, but it does not change the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem. She is not one of us, Kalen. She never will be, and neither will that child. Kalen felt something inside him snap. A thread that had been holding him to his family, to his name, to the legacy he had spent his life building. It broke, and in its place, something new took root. You are right, he said quietly. She is not one of us. She is better. She raised my daughter alone, with nothing, while you sat in this mausoleum counting your money. She built a life and a career through pure determination while you destroyed everything you touched. She is more of a Crestwood than you have ever been. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Careful, Kalen. No, I am done being careful. I am done protecting your reputation. I am done pretending that this family is anything other than a poison that destroys everything it touches. He gathered the papers, stuffed them back into the folder. I am going to the board tomorrow. I am presenting evidence of your interference in company affairs, your misuse of corporate resources, and your criminal harassment of a private citizen. I am having you removed from your position as chairwoman. Victoria stood. Her composure cracked, revealing something ugly beneath. You would not dare. Watch me. I built this company. I made you who you are. Without me, you are nothing. Kalen smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Without you, mother, I might have had a family. A real one. I might have known my daughter from birth. I might have been happy. He walked to the door, paused. You took 13 years from me. I am taking everything from you. He left. Behind him, he heard the sound of porcelain shattering against the wall. If you are feeling the tension right now, drop a comment and let me know. Tell me what you think Victoria deserves after everything she has done. I want to hear your thoughts. Zoraide was waiting when Kalen returned to her apartment. She had not been able to sit still since he left. Had paced the small living room until she was sure she had worn a path in the carpet. Had checked her phone every 30 seconds, waiting for a message, a call, anything. When he walked through the door, she knew immediately that something had changed. His face was different, harder, but also somehow lighter. What happened? She asked. She admitted it. Kalen sank onto the couch. All of it. She did not even try to deny it. Zoraide sat beside him, not touching, but close. What did she say? That you were unsuitable, that you were a distraction, that she did what was necessary. Zoraide laughed bitterly. Sounds about right. She did not know about Kamari. Kalen looked at her. She knew about the payment, the letters, everything else. But she did not know about the pregnancy. About our daughter. Does that matter? Kalen was quiet for a moment. It should not. What she did was unforgivable regardless. But part of me hoped that if she had known about Kamari, she might have acted differently. And now I know better. She would have done the same thing. She would have found a way to take Kamari from you, raise her as a Crestwood, and erase you from her life entirely. Zoraide shuddered. That is exactly what I was afraid of. That is why I ran. You were right to run. Kalen's voice was heavy. I hate that you were right, but you were. My family is poison. Not all of it. He looked at her. Kamari is a Crestwood. Zoraide said softly. And she is the best person I know. Kalen's eyes glistened. She did not get that from my side. She got plenty from your side. Those eyes. That stubbornness. The way she argues about everything. He laughed despite himself. That is fair. They sat in silence for a moment. The weight of the day settling around them. What happens now? Zoraide asked. Tomorrow I go to the board. I present the evidence. I have my mother removed from her position. Will they listen to you? They will not have a choice. What she did was not just personal. She used company resources to surveil you, to interfere with your travel, to access private databases. That is criminal. The board will distance themselves from her or go down with her. And then what? Then I start trying to undo 13 years of damage. Zoraide looked at him. Really looked. The boy she had loved was still there, somewhere beneath the armor he had built. Beneath the suits and the power and the carefully controlled expressions. She had spent 13 years hating him, blaming him, using him as the face of everything that had been taken from her. But he had been a victim too, manipulated by the same woman who had threatened her, lied to by the person who should have protected him. I do not know how to do this, she admitted. Do what? This. She gestured between them. Whatever this is, you are Kamari's father. That is not going to change. But I do not know what that means for us. Kalen turned to face her fully. It means whatever you want it to mean. I am not here to force anything, Zora. I am not here to take over your life or control your choices. I just want to be present. For Kamari. And if you will let me, for you too. I do not need you. I know. I have been doing this alone for 12 years. I know that too. So why would I need you now? Kaylin reached out, slowly, giving her time to pull away. She did not. His hand covered hers. Warm, gentle. You do not need me, he said. But maybe, after everything, we could choose each other anyway. Zoraid's heart was pounding so hard she was sure he could hear it. That is a lot to ask. I know. He squeezed her hand. And I am not asking for an answer tonight. I am just asking you to think about it. He stood, moved toward the door. I should go. I have a long day tomorrow. Kaylin. He turned. Thank you. For believing me. For fighting for us. His smile was sad but genuine. I should have done it 13 years ago. I am just trying to make up for lost time. He left. Zoraide sat alone in the quiet apartment, her hand still warm where he had touched it. And for the first time in 13 years, she allowed herself to wonder, what if? The board meeting happened 3 days later. Kaylin had spent those days preparing, gathering additional evidence, coordinating with lawyers, making calls to board members he knew he could trust. The Crestwood Industries boardroom was designed to intimidate. A long mahogany table, leather chairs, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Atlanta skyline. 12 people sat around the table. 11 board members and Victoria Crestwood, who had taken her usual seat at the head despite no longer holding the position of CEO. Kaylin stood at the opposite end. Thank you all for coming on short notice. He began. I have called this meeting to address a matter of corporate malfeasance that requires immediate action. Victoria's eyes were ice, but she said nothing. Over the past several weeks, I have uncovered evidence that one of our board members has been using company resources for personal purposes. Resources including our surveillance systems, our private investigation contracts. He clicked a button. The presentation screen lit up behind him. Documents appeared. Photographs. Bank statements. 13 years ago, Victoria Crestwood used $50,000 of company funds to pay off a private citizen. She then used our corporate investigation team to monitor that citizen for over a decade. Murmurs rippled around the table. This is outrageous. Victoria stood. These are personal matters that have no bearing on this company. They became company matters when you used company resources. Kaylin's voice was calm, cold. When you embezzled funds. When you illegally accessed private databases. When you violated federal regulations. He turned to the board. The citizen in question is Zoraide Ashford. 13 years ago, she was my partner. She was pregnant with my child. My mother paid her to leave and threatened to destroy her life if she ever contacted me again. The murmurs became gasps. Victoria's face went pale. Kaylin, this is not appropriate for a board meeting. What is not appropriate, Mother, is using a billion-dollar company as your personal weapon. What is not appropriate is stealing 13 years of my daughter's life because you decided her mother was unsuitable. He clicked to the next slide. I am formally requesting a vote of no confidence in Victoria Crestwood's position as chairwoman. Furthermore, I am requesting that the board authorize an independent investigation into her use of company resources. Victoria slammed her hand on the table. You cannot do this. I already have. The board members exchanged glances. Some looked sympathetic to Kaylin. Others looked uncomfortable. A few looked calculating, weighing the political implications. One of them, a silver-haired man named Harold Whitaker who had served on the board for 20 years, cleared his throat. These are serious accusations. Kaylin, do you have documentation to support them? Kaylin handed him a folder. Everything is here. Financial records, surveillance logs, correspondence. I have also provided copies to our legal team and, as of this morning, to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Victoria's face went white. You reported this to the SEC. What you did was not just a family matter, Mother. It was fraud, embezzlement, illegal surveillance. The SEC will determine if criminal charges are warranted. The room erupted. Board members talking over each other. Victoria shouting denials. Lawyers huddling in corners. Through it all, Kaylin stood still, watching, waiting. Finally, Harold Whitaker raised his hand for silence. I think we need to take a vote, he said. All in favor of removing Victoria Crestwood from her position as chairwoman, pending the results of an independent investigation. Hands went up around the table. 1, 2, 3, 7, 9. 9 out of 11. Victoria looked around the room. At the people she had worked with for decades. At the empire she had helped build. And she saw that none of them would save her. This is not over, she said quietly. Yes, Mother. Kaylin met her eyes. It is. Security escorted her from the building. Kaylin watched her go, feeling nothing but emptiness where his grief should have been. That night, Kaylin did something he had never done before. He showed up at Zoraid's apartment with pizza and ice cream. Kamari opened the door. "What is all this?" she asked, eyeing the bags in his hands. "I thought we could celebrate," he said. "Celebrate what? Your grandmother is no longer in charge of the family company." Kamari tilted her head. "The grandmother who tried to keep me from existing. That is the one." A slow smile spread across Kamari's face. "In that case, I hope you brought extra cheese." They ate pizza on the living room floor. All three of them. Zoraid had not done this since Kamari was small, back when fancy furniture was a dream and picnic dinners were a necessity. It felt different now. Better. "So what happens to her?" Kamari asked, reaching for another slice. "Your mom, does she go to jail?" Kalen shook his head. "Probably not. She has good lawyers. But she will lose her position, her influence, her access to the company. For someone like her, that is worse than prison." "Good," Kamari said firmly. "She sounds terrible." Zoraid and Kalen exchanged glances over their daughter's head. "She has her moments," Kalen said diplomatically. "Bad moments. Very bad moments." Kamari nodded, satisfied with this answer. She turned to her mother. "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Of course, baby." If things had been different, if his mom had not done all that stuff, would you and Kalen have stayed together? The question hung in the air. Zoraid set down her pizza. She looked at Kalen, then back at her daughter. "I do not know, baby. We were very young. We came from very different worlds. Maybe it would have worked. Maybe it would not have. But you loved him. It was not a question." Zoraid took a breath. "Yes, I loved him. And you?" Kamari turned to Kalen. "Did you love her?" Kalen did not hesitate. More than anything, Kamari looked between them. The two people who had made her. The two people who had been kept apart by lies and money and fear. Then why not try again? Zoraid choked on her water. "Kamari, what?" "It is a valid question. It is complicated. Adults always say that when they do not want to answer." Kalen laughed. "She has a point." Zoraid glared at him. "Do not encourage her. I am just saying." Kamari shrugged with exaggerated innocence. "You obviously still like each other. You get all weird when he is around. And he looks at you like you are the only person in the room." "I do not get weird. You absolutely get weird." Kalen was grinning now. "This is the best conversation I have ever had." Zoraid threw a napkin at him. "You are not helping." Kamari stood, brushing crumbs from her jeans. "I am going to my room to do homework. You two should talk." "We do not need to talk." "Yes, you do." Kamari pointed at both of them. "And maybe actually say what you are feeling instead of being all awkward and adult about it." She disappeared down the hallway. Her door clicked shut. Silence. Kalen looked at Zoraid. "She has your stubbornness. She has yours too." More silence. "She is not wrong," Kalen said quietly. "About any of it." Zoraid pulled her knees to her chest. "We cannot just pick up where we left off." "I know. Too much has happened. Too much time has passed." "I know that too. So what are you saying?" "I am saying," Kalen moved closer, "that I never stopped loving you. That every relationship I have had since has been a pale imitation of what we had. That I have spent 13 years trying to fill a hole that only you could fill." Zoraid's eyes were wet. "Kalen, I am not asking you to forget what happened. I am not asking you to trust me overnight. I am just asking for a chance. A real chance. To prove that the man I am now is worth the risk. And if it does not work, then at least we tried. At least Kamari sees her parents tried." Zoraid looked at him. At the man he had become. At the father he was learning to be. She thought about the past 13 years. The loneliness, the struggle, the constant fear. And she thought about the future. The possibility, the hope. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay, we can try. No promises, no expectations. Just trying." Kalen's smile could have lit up the entire city. "That is all I am asking." He leaned forward, slowly, giving her time to pull away. She did not. The kiss was gentle, tender. A question and an answer all at once. When they pulled apart, Kamari's door cracked open. Finally, her voice drifted down the hallway. "It only took you 13 years." Zoraid buried her face in her hands, laughing despite herself. Kalen just grinned. "Now, I know you are rooting for these two. I can feel it. But we are not done yet. There is still one more obstacle they have to face. And this one might be the biggest yet. If you are enjoying this story, hit that like button and subscribe. We are heading into the final stretch, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. 3 weeks later, the obstacle arrived in the form of a manila envelope. Zoraid found it slipped under her door when she came home from a client meeting. The Whitmore interview had been rescheduled for next month, and she had been busy rebuilding her portfolio for the presentation. She opened the envelope without thinking, and froze. Photographs. Dozens of them. Her and Kamari at the grocery store, at Kamari's school, at the park, at the apartment. Photographs spanning months, maybe years. And at the bottom, a typed note. You thought you were free. You were never free. We see everything, and we will never let you go. Zoraid's hands were shaking so badly, she dropped the envelope. Photographs scattered across the floor, evidence of months of surveillance, months of being watched without knowing. She grabbed her phone, called Kalen. He answered on the first ring. Zora, what is wrong? Someone has been watching us. She could barely get the words out. There are photographs. Everywhere. They have been following us for months. Where are you? At the apartment. Kamari is at school. Do not touch anything else. I am on my way. He arrived in 20 minutes. Broke several traffic laws doing it. When he saw the photographs, his face went pale. This is not my mother's work, he said slowly, examining the images. She used company resources. This is something else. Something personal. Then who? I do not know, but I am going to find out. He made calls, brought in security experts, had the apartment swept for bugs and tracking devices. They found 3. 1 in the living room lamp, 1 in Kamari's backpack, 1 in Zoraid's car. Zoraid felt violated in a way she could not articulate. Every moment she thought was private had been observed, recorded, cataloged. Who would do this? She asked, her voice hollow. Who would care enough to watch us for this long? Kalen's jaw was tight. Someone who wants to control the situation. Someone who sees you and Kamari as leverage. Leverage for what? I do not know yet, but I will find out. The answer came 2 days later. Kalen received a call from his lawyers. Victoria was requesting an emergency meeting. She claimed to have information vital to the family's interests. He almost refused, but something in the lawyer's voice made him pause. She says it is about the surveillance. The lawyer said. She says she knows who is behind it. Kalen met his mother in a conference room at his lawyer's office. Neutral ground. Witnesses. Victoria looked different, smaller somehow. The weeks since her removal from the board had aged her. Her perfect composure was cracked, revealing the frightened woman beneath. Thank you for seeing me, she said. I did not come for you. I came for answers. Victoria nodded. I understand. She slid a folder across the table. The surveillance was not me, but I know who it was. Kalen opened the folder. Inside were documents, emails, financial records, and a name, Gerald Whitmore, the founder of Whitmore and Associates, the man who wanted to hire Zoraid. Kalen looked up. I do not understand. Gerald and I have known each other for 30 years. Victoria's voice was quiet. He was one of the original investors in Crestwood Industries. We had a falling out a decade ago over a business deal gone wrong. What does that have to do with Zoraid? Gerald has been watching her for years. Not because of you. Because of me. He knew that if he could find something to use against this family, he could hurt me. Hurt us. Kalen's blood ran cold. The job offer, the interview. It was a trap. Victoria confirmed. He was going to bring her to London, get her away from any support system, and then use her connection to this family to destroy what is left of our reputation. Why would you tell me this? Because despite everything, you are still my son. Victoria's eyes were wet. And because I realized something these past few weeks. I destroyed your chance at happiness because I was afraid of losing control, afraid of losing you. And in the end, I lost you anyway. Kalen stared at his mother, at the woman who had caused so much pain, who had lied and manipulated and destroyed. And he saw something he had never seen before. Regret. This does not change what you did. He said, I know, and I do not forgive you. I know that too. But he took a breath. Thank you for telling me. Victoria nodded. She stood to leave. Mom. She turned. Was any of it real? He asked. Any of your love for me? Or was I always just an asset to be managed? Victoria's face crumpled. Oh, Kalen, you were never just an asset. You were my greatest joy. I just did not know how to show it without trying to control it. She left. Kalen sat alone in the conference room, the weight of her confession settling around him. Some wounds, he realized, never fully heal. But maybe, with time, they could scar over. Kalen went straight to Zoraid. He told her everything. About Gerald, about the trap, about the real reason behind the job offer. Zoraid listened in silence. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. So it was never about my work. She finally said, the interview, the opportunity, it was all a game. Your work is exceptional. Kalen said firmly. Gerald saw that and tried to exploit it. That does not diminish what you have accomplished. I feel so stupid. You are not stupid, you are brilliant. He saw your talent and tried to use it against you. That makes him the villain, not you. Zoraid laughed bitterly. I keep thinking I have escaped this world, your world, and it keeps pulling me back in. It is not my world anymore. Kaylin took her hands. I am building something new, something better, and I want you and Kamari to be part of it. How? Whitmore is finished. I have already contacted the authorities about the surveillance. His company will be investigated, his reputation destroyed. He will never hurt you again. And then what? And then, Kaylin squeezed her hands. You pursue your dream on your own terms. Not through his company. Through your own. My own. I want to fund a landscape architecture firm. Your firm. Not as an investor, not as a partner. Just as someone who believes in your vision and wants to see it succeed. Zoraide shook her head. I cannot take your money. It is not charity, Zora. It is investment. In talent I believe in a future I want to be part of. She looked at him, at the sincerity in those tiger eyes. And she realized something. She was tired of running. Tired of proving she did not need help. Tired of carrying everything alone. Okay, she said. Okay, but it is a loan, not a gift. I pay back every cent. Kaylin smiled. I would expect nothing less. 6 months later, Ashford Landscape Design officially opened its doors. The office was small but elegant. Located in a renovated warehouse in Atlanta's Arts District. Exposed brick, natural light, gardens growing on every surface. Zoraide stood in the doorway, watching her team set up their workstations. 3 designers, an office manager, a receptionist named Marcus who happened to be Kamari's best friend's older brother. It was modest. It was imperfect. It was hers. Mom. Zoraide turned. Kamari stood behind her, holding a potted plant. Where do you want this? What is it? A tiger lily. Kamari grinned. Kaylin picked it out. He said it reminded him of your eyes. Zoraide rolled her eyes, but she was smiling. Of course he did. So where should I put it? Right here. Zoraide pointed to her desk. Where I can see it every day. Kamari set down the plant, then wrapped her arms around her mother. I am proud of you, Mom. Zoraide held her daughter tight. I am proud of us, baby. All of us. The door opened behind them. Kaylin walked in, carrying a ridiculous bouquet of flowers that was almost too big to fit through the doorframe. I might have gone overboard, he admitted. Kamari laughed. You think? He set the flowers on the reception desk, crossed to Zoraide, kissed her softly. Happy opening day. Thank you. For everything. You did this, Zora. Not me. I just provided some capital. The vision, the work, the talent. That is all you. She leaned into him, allowed herself to believe it. That evening, they had dinner at the apartment. All 3 of them. It had become their ritual. No matter how busy their lives got, Sunday dinners were sacred. So, Kamari said, twirling spaghetti around her fork. I have been thinking. That is dangerous. Kaylin said. She ignored him. I have been thinking about names. Names. Yeah, like, I am Kamari Ashford. But technically, I am also a Crestwood. Right. Zoraide and Kaylin exchanged glances. Technically, yes. Kaylin said carefully. So which one am I? You are whoever you want to be. Zoraide said. Your name does not define you. I know, but I have been thinking. Kamari set down her fork. What if I used both? Both? Kamari Ashford Crestwood. She said it slowly, tasting each syllable. It is a mouthful, but it is me. Kaylin's eyes were suspiciously bright. I think it is perfect. Mom. Zoraide reached across the table, took her daughter's hand. I think you should be whoever makes you happy, baby. And if that means carrying both names, then that is exactly who you should be. Kamari smiled. Good, because I already signed up for summer art camp under that name. So it would be really awkward to change it now. Kaylin laughed. Zoraide groaned. Some things, it seemed, never changed. Later that night, after Kamari went to bed, Zoraide and Kaylin sat on the small balcony. The Atlanta skyline glittered in the distance. Somewhere out there, the Crestwood Empire continued to turn. But it felt further away now. Less suffocating. I have something for you, Kaylin said. He pulled out a small envelope. Zoraide opened it. Inside was a passport. Kamari's new passport. But something was different. The flag is gone. Kaylin explained. I had it removed from all systems. She can travel anywhere in the world now without restriction. Zoraide stared at the document, at the freedom it represented. And there is something else. Kaylin pointed to the bottom of the page. Look at the parental information. Zoraide looked. Under father, where the space had always been blank, there was now a name. Kaylin Mike Crestwood. I added myself, officially. Kaylin's voice was soft. Not to claim her, not to take her from you, just to be present, on paper, in the world. Zoraide's eyes were wet. When did you do this? Last month, after the DNA test. I wanted it to be official before I gave it to her. Does she know? Not yet. I wanted to ask you first, to make sure it was okay. Zora had looked at the passport, at the name, at everything it meant, and she thought about the journey that had brought them here. A summer of love, a payment that was supposed to end everything. 13 years of silence, an airport confrontation, a daughter who refused to stay hidden. All of it leading to this moment. A passport, a name, a family. It is more than okay. She whispered. It is perfect. Kaylin pulled her close, held her as the city lights glittered below. Tomorrow, they would give Kamari her new passport. Tomorrow, they would start planning for the future. London, maybe, or Paris, or anywhere the wind took them. But tonight, they simply held each other. Two people who had been torn apart by lies. Two people who had found their way back. Two people who had chosen, against all odds, to try again. And here is where I want you to pause and take this in. This story started with a woman running from her past. It started with secrets and lies and a powerful family that thought they could control everything. But it ended with something different. It ended with truth, with forgiveness, with the courage to build something new from the ashes of what was destroyed. So let me ask you this. What would you build if you were given a second chance? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. 1 year later, the London skyline stretched outside the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Ashford Landscape Design International office. Zora had stood at her drafting table, reviewing blueprints for a new project. A rooftop garden for a children's hospital, pro bono. Her favorite kind. Behind her, the door opened. Mom. Kamari's voice rang through the space. We are going to be late. Zora had smiled without turning around. Late for what? Dinner, with Dad. He made reservations at that place with the really good pasta. Dad. The word still made Zora's heart flutter. Kaylin had earned that title slowly. Through late-night math sessions and awkward father-daughter conversations, and 1,000 small moments that added up to something real. He had stepped back from most of his responsibilities at Crestwood Industries, promoted trusted people to run things in his absence, focused instead on what mattered. Family. I am almost done. Zora had set down her pencil. Give me 5 minutes. That is what you said an hour ago. Kamari appeared beside her. 13 now, all long limbs and attitude and those unmistakable tiger eyes. She was thriving in London, had made friends at her new school, had discovered a passion for photography that surprised everyone, had grown into the kind of confident, compassionate young woman that made Zora proud every single day. Fine. Zora laughed. I am coming. They walked out together, into the London evening, toward the restaurant where Kaylin was waiting. He stood when he saw them, smiled that smile that still made Zora's heart race. My two favorite people. He said. You're only two people. Kamari corrected. Exactly. They sat, ordered and talked about everything and nothing. And somewhere between the appetizer and the main course, Kaylin reached into his pocket. I have been waiting for the right moment. He said. I do not think there is a right moment. So I am just going to do this. He placed a small box on the table. Kamari's eyes went wide. Zora's heart stopped. Zora Ashford. Kaylin opened the box. A diamond ring caught the light. 13 years ago, I let the best thing in my life slip away. I spent all those years as half a person, not knowing what I was missing. Then I found you again, found Kamari, and found everything I never knew I needed. Zora's hand was trembling. I am not asking for permission to love you. I have always loved you. I am asking for permission to love you forever, to be your partner, your teammate, your home. He took her hand. Marry me. Kamari was practically vibrating in her seat. Say yes, Mom. Oh my God, say yes. Zora laughed through her tears. She looked at this man, this complicated, imperfect, beautiful man who had fought through lies and legacy and his own demons to be here. And she knew. She had always known. Yes. The word was barely out of her mouth before Kamari was screaming and Kaylin was sliding the ring onto her finger and the entire restaurant was applauding. Zora did not hear any of it. All she heard was her own heart, finally at peace, finally home. And that, my friends, is where we end our story. Not with a perfect ending, because life is never perfect, but with a hopeful one, a beginning disguised as a conclusion. Zora Ashford started this journey alone, running from a past she could not escape. She ended it with a family she never expected, a daughter who taught her about courage, a partner who taught her about second chances, and a future bright enough to light up even the darkest memories. So here's what I want you to take from this story. No matter how far you run, some things will always find you. The question is not whether you can escape your past. The question is whether you have the courage to face it, to stand in the airport of your own life and say, this ends here. To build something new from the ashes of what was destroyed. To love again, even when love has hurt you. That is the real story, not billionaires and scandals and secret daughters. The real story is always, always about love. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying until the end. If this story touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling me what moment hit you the hardest. This has been Love Tales by Mr. Grayson. And remember, every ending is just another beginning.